may still be entering, but we'll go ahead. I don't want to take up too much of Gina's time. We're excited to have all of you joining us here for our first day of the Rural Life Virtual Summer Institute. Welcome to Canvas Basics with Gina Pavlovich. And I'm Brooke Drennan. I'm going to be your session host. I'm going to be here to support the presenter, and I'm going to offer some technical assistance to participants, as well as share the session evaluation and certificate information at the end of the session. And it's really important that you complete that at the end of the session, so especially if you want to get credit for being here today. So we'll put that information up at the end. Please don't hesitate to use the chat to ask questions. I'll be monitoring that. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our session presenter, Gina Pavlovich. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, Gina. I do want you to be aware that if you want to access the materials on our Virtual Summer Institute website, I believe John has posted that link in the chat. So you'll find the chat down at the bottom of your screen. There's a little bubble, dialog bubble that says chat. You can access that there. Also, just a reminder, if you're not on mute already, just please put yourself on mute, and then when we have time for questions, we'd be happy if you put your questions there in the chat, or if we have time, just unmute yourself and we can have a discussion about any questions that you have. If your video isn't on yet, there is a camera down at the bottom beside of your microphone, and you can just click there and click Start Video, and we'll be able to see your face then. So again, if you want the resources, the link to those is in the chat box. Would you provide any more information on that, Gina?
No, that sounds great. I will show you the website in just a moment, and you can see that, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand that you can you know, everything that I'm getting ready to show you, it's very important that you know how to get to the resources from this session, because you're going to be able to find individual videos on it there. So let's go ahead and let's begin. First thing is, one of our teachers earlier said I buckled up and I'm ready to go, and this is the slide I was talking about. Like, we only have an hour together, and I want to introduce you to Canvas, and that's really not enough. I could spend a whole hour on just talking about how to create one page and all you can do within that one page of Canvas. So what I've done is I created a website where you guys can go at any time on your own, and everything that I show you today, plus other things, you can find videos on how to do that on this website. So what I really want you to do today is I just want you to kind of just sit back and listen and just kind of think about, how could this look in your classroom? How could this help you in your classroom? Think of any questions that you might have. And then later, when we are, when we're not together and you're actually in a Canvas site and it's completely blank, you will have access, and this right here is the website that I've linked to at the bottom of that other page, but you will have access to this. So you can go in and just click on Canvas Basics, and it's going to pull up a bunch of videos. And again, everything that I talk about right now, you're going to be able to see like a 5-minute to a 15-minute video on it. And it's just me, and I'm saying, hey, if you want to embed a video, then click here and click here and click here, or if you want to do this or that. So please do not stress out as I start talking really fast and saying, do this, do this, do this. Please don't stress out. It's moving way too fast for you, but know that all of this is here, and I've actually put from all of the professional developments I'm doing with the Summer Institute, I am making websites. So later on, after you're a little more comfortable with Canvas, you may want to know more about, well, what are some free online programs I can use to kind of amp up my teaching in the online environment. Well, then you will have access to this site, to this page that is just going to be full of videos on how to use screen recorders and how to use Google Suite and things like Book Creator or Prezi or just anything you can think of. And also, this is a living website, so it's going to constantly be updated. So as you or anybody else ask me questions, if I don't have a video on it and I think I can do a video to help you, I will add those here. So again, please don't stress out like this this precious little child in this right here that just cracked me up. Please don't, because we're going to make sure that all of you get access to that website and can use it when you are working on your own. So before I even go into Canvas, I want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is, why are we here? That's a huge thing, right? We need to know our why. And I want to talk about our why without even talking about COVID-19 or the school closings or anything that has happened in the past. I want to make sure everything that we talk about and everything that I'm going to show you, I want to make sure that you understand that this is not something that you're going to spend a lot of time putting together and then they're going to find a vaccine for the coronavirus and you're never going to use it again. This is something that you can take and you can create this environment and you can use it until the day that you retire. And you can edit it easily and you can change it as your students change and as your students' needs change, but it's going to be something that can be used all the time. I also want to stress that we're really talking about kind of blended learning or a remote learning type situation. We were just talking earlier, you know, what if schools don't start back in the fall? What are we going to do? But what I want to stress is, I don't think that you should go into this as thinking you need to create an online course, because I'm the director of Niswonger Online, and when I hire a teacher to create an online course for our program, I give that teacher at least 6 months to create this course. You guys back in the spring, if you had Canvas or anything at your disposal, you might have had like 3 or 4 days, right? And then throughout the summer, maybe your schools are asking you to add to that a little bit to kind of up your resources and things like that, which is great to do. But again, none of you are given a 6-month time period to create a fully online class. And I don't want you to feel like you have to create a fully online class, because that's just an immense task to take on. What I want you to kind of focus on and think about is, how can I put resources online that my students can access easily? And whether we're in the classroom or whether they're working from home, how can I get them that information and, you know, they be able to take it and do what they need to with it? I put just a few boxes here on some, you know, again, without even the challenges of COVID-19, what are ways in which having information online helps? And you can see it's a great place to put sub-plans. You know, we've all had our kid at the, at the doctor's office, and all of a sudden he has strep throat and he can't go to school tomorrow, which means you can't go to school tomorrow. And you're calling your best friend who teaches across the hall and saying, can you please go in early and make me 200 copies of this packet for the sub to hand out? Well, if you have modules within your Canvas class that the students can just go in and access and start working on, then it makes your life easier and it takes a lot of that stress off of you. It makes your subs life a lot easier. And again, it makes it so that students can keep learning even though you're not there. I did put in parentheses though, make sure that you introduce your Canvas class and that environment and everything to your students before that first sub though, because that'd just be terrible to put a sub in there and then have your kids go online for the first time ever. We hear all the time about personalized learning, and online is where you could do that. 3 students can all be sitting in a row and I'll be doing 3 totally different assignments, and they won't even know it. So having that online environment is a great place to set up things like that. When I was in the classroom, I taught high school social studies, and I would have these classes of 30 to 35 kids, and their abilities would range to some of the smartest kids in that school to students who were on a 4th grade reading level. And I remember one of the first years that I really had a big group of kids, and I had some special ed kids, and the special ed teacher was in there, and we sat down one day, and we said we just have to divide and conquer. We have to divide these kids up into small groups, and each group is going to be doing something different, but something that's helping them. And we were able to really do that by bringing technology in. And if I wasn't in a small group talking to the kids, then the kids, one group could have been over here working on the computer while another group was over here doing some book work. And just having that time of taking that class of 30 kids down to just 10 that were sitting in front of me and really being able to talk to them, that was some of the best teaching I ever was able to do, because it was no longer me against 30 plus kids. It was me looking 10 kids straight in the eye and talking to them, and just really trying to understand what they understood and what they didn't understand. And then finally, I want to stress that, and I'm the director of online courses, and I get on my soapbox, and the one thing I always say is that online will never replace our teachers and will never be better than the kids sitting in the classroom with those great teachers. And I just want to stress that here. And I feel like now more than ever, everyone, even people outside of education, they're seeing this now, and they're appreciating all of the work that the teachers do. But with having online, you're able to supplement your teaching, and you're able to get things to help engage students and then help your students just kind of meet all of their varying needs. And you see I bolded organized, because that's something I'm really going to talk about a lot, is when it comes to online learning, one of the biggest ways that you can just to make everybody tune out from ever wanting to learn online is for it to not be organized, and for it to just not be easily navigated and things like that. And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. But just muted myself on accident. Let's start out by talking about how to kind of welcome your students into your online class. Now, again, you're not teaching online, right? And we're hoping that these kids are sitting in your classroom. But even with those kids sitting in your classroom, I still think that an inviting homepage, an inviting environment needs to be created. No matter who you're teaching, kindergarten through 12th grade, there's a good chance that this online environment could be new to them, and therefore they could be a little scared of it. They've heard about, oh, so-and-so had a teacher put stuff online and it was the hardest thing they'd ever done. They've heard all the rumors. And what you need to do starting out when you do get a Canvas, an instance, a Canvas page for yourself, is you need to make it inviting. You need to show your students that you're still there for them. And these are just a couple of screenshots from some of my teachers at Niswonger Online. And you see they'll put pictures of their families. This is Dr. Bergen. And if you are like, oh, I have Dr. Bergen for online psychology, you're as a teenager, you're immediately scared to death, and you think, oh, this is going to be the hardest class ever. But then you log in and you see this sweet face, and he's just saying, hey guys, I'm here to help you. I want to help you. And so we're just trying to ease their worries and ease their concerns when it comes to online learning. This is my physics teacher. She teaches at Clinch, and she has this really cute picture, and then she also has a funny cartoon. I've actually pulled up a few courses to show you. Sometimes when you log into a Canvas course, the first thing you'll see is just the modules page. And this to me, again, this is not inviting. This is not making me, and I'm an adult, right? But this is not making me want to say, oh, cool, that looks fun. Let's do that, you know? So imagine a 13, 14, 15-year-old, or even especially imagine your kindergartner logging in and just seeing random links, you know? So we have it where it's always set up where the students see a home page first. I really stress to always keep your home page kind of short and sweet is what I like to say. You don't want to overload them with information. You know, put a pretty picture, but don't put 100 pictures. Don't put 10 different videos. You can see this one here. This is for an AP Environmental Science class. It ends with the teacher. So again, there's the teacher's face. So the students they're saying, "Ooh, AP class with Dr. Goodrum, that sounds crazy hard." And then all of a sudden you see her talking and she's this sweet little woman, you know? And so again, short and sweet, but just something inviting. This is that physics course that Miss Roten teaches. Here's her welcome video.
Hello and welcome to physics.
This video is 19 seconds. So a 19-second video that will just ease your students and make them feel a little bit more welcomed, and make them also know that you're still there with them. So even no matter what, whether they're working from home or they're sitting there in the classroom working, there's still a picture of you. There's still something that kind of shows your personality. Something else that I wanted to show you was, again, just focusing on that like personality part of it is, you know, just putting funny little pictures and things like that to help the kids just kind of giggle for a second. And then they're like, okay, now let's get to work. So I've created a Rural Life Canvas page that I've just been playing with. And everything that you see on this page right now, I have a video that's showed you how to get there. So I'm going to quickly go through it, and I'm going to click, 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 and you're going to say, Gina, you're killing me. You got to slow down. But again, on this website right here, there's a bunch of videos that's going to show you exactly what I've done to help you. So just looking at this one, I did a few different things. I put in some pictures. This is text that I wrote. This is a voice recording. Say what you need to say to this. So you can just do really quick voice recordings and let your kids, hey, now that you're logged into Canvas, I want you to do this, this, and this today. So you can do that. And you can also embed videos of any kind. This is one that I made with a screen recorder program that's actually free, and I love it. And anytime when you're starting to make any material for your class, the number one thing that I recommend you get is a program like this one. And again, one more time, if you want to know more about a screen recording program, you can go to this website, and right here, the very first video I have is using a screen recorder. But I talk about two different ones. They're both free. I use them literally daily to help me to give information to my teachers, to give information to my students, everybody. But let me show you quickly how to edit a home page. So if you click edit, that's your friendly edit button that you'll see all over your Canvas. And once you get comfortable with it, you'll also notice that when you click edit, whether it's a home page, an information page, a quiz, an assignment page, it always starts by bringing you to the same box with the same icons. And you can see various different icons. You can scroll over them to see what they mean. The ones that I use the most and the ones that I've really focused on in my videos are how to link to outside web sources, how to embed images. Click on images, upload a new image. It's very easy. You can search your computer, or you can even drag an image to there and drop it. Once you have it there, you just click upload, and it pops up here on the screen. You can embed, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in depth in a minute, but you can embed videos like you see here. I highly recommend embedding videos because then the students do not have to link out to an outside website. Everything can be right here on the same screen. So anytime that's possible, you can embed. But then something that I love that goes along with this voice recording is this little icon right here. I use it all the time. As soon as you click it, it pulls up, hey guys, it pulls up the camera and you can click start recording and record a message. So let's say you have that sub coming on Monday and you're teaching second graders and you just want to record a quick message and say, hey guys, I'm sorry I missed you today. I hope you're having a great day. I hope to be back tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Talk to them, tell them what they need to do, reassure them, again, ease their worries, and then tell them where they can go within this Canvas to complete work. You can do it this way, or if you want to do just your voice, you can click on webcam and do no video. But it's very easy. You click start recording and it starts recording and you say whatever you need to say. You click finish and just give it a name of any kind and hit save. You can have longer videos, but do know if the longer the video, takes a little bit longer to save it and for it to upload. But you can now see that here. And when I click on this, it will now show up on my home page. So you can tell your sub to have the students log into their Canvas site and watch, and the very first thing they need to do is watch the video that you have put there, you know, front and center for them to see. And this video will then take them to modules where they can do the work that needs to be done
And
today.
it starts.
But you can see how it is embedded. So again, I love that feature because it's so great to have everything there and just everything at your fingertips. So you can, again, show yourself and show your personality throughout this course and just make it more inviting and just talk about how, you know, talk to your kids. Why are we doing this today? And how are we going to do this? And things like that. And something that we do and my teachers do all the time is they'll switch these videos in and out, like weekly. They'll make new videos that are just talking to their students about everything that is coming up. So that was really fast, right? And I have to move on. But remind yourselves, before you curse me, remind yourself that there are multiple videos on that website that will show you more information. Okay, I promise you that. There's actually 4 that I can think of that talk about how do you get a home page to even show up, how do you embed pictures, how do you embed the videos, how do you even type. I mean, everything you can think of, I have tried to cover. So give them that great inviting homepage. So when you do ask them to do work online, hopefully they will be more willing to do it and a little more excited about doing it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and I've already mentioned it once, is your Canvas site, or no matter what you're using, your online instance has to be organized. Because if it's not organized, the students are going to click a couple of things and then they're going to throw their hands up in the air and they're going to say, I'm done. And you know what I've learned throughout my life and throughout my position with Niswonger Online is that the parents, they might click on 3 things before they throw their hands up and say, that's it, I'm done. So you really want to make it something that is easy to navigate. I talk about here why use modules, you know, keep everything organized. When you use modules, you can control how your students move through your course. You can control when they're allowed to move forward. You can control what they can and can't see. I think it's great to use modules because if not, and you just add a bunch of links to your homepage, then your homepage becomes huge and it becomes overwhelming. And again, the kids get lost in all of that information. I say here, you know, it's teaching the students the layout of high school and college courses. So you really are helping these students with skills that they're going to take throughout the rest of their learning. And you're also, just by using the vocabulary and just by saying modules, you're introducing to them something they've probably never heard of, but they're going to see one day as they're learning. And then I tell you, and I'm going to show you, that it's just an easy, super easy place for you to create information pages and assignments and things like that. So let's go back to our Summer Institute page here, and I'm going to click over on modules.
Hey, Gina.
And, yes.
So sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Question about the Summer Institute, about the page.
Yes.
Some people are saying that they can't, that the link on the bottom of that Google Doc isn't working. Any idea what that might be? I can access it and John can access it too.
I don't know. I can copy and paste it and try. I feel like you guys probably put this same link, but
yes.
Let me try.
So sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm glad you told me, but actually that's probably not going to work because that might be my link. Can anybody try this one and let me know if that brings anything up for you? I can also, it still says error. Okay, thank you, Amy.
So it's asking me to sign in, so it might be a setting with the.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. And I can go in later. I might have it set where you have to, like I might not have changed it to everyone can view, and it's set to just where, what am I trying to say? Like Niswanger.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could just fix that later. So I just didn't want people stressing out over it for the whole time. I wanted them to be able to focus. So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take a look at that later.
Okay. And I'm gonna make a note of that right now too, so I don't forget to take a look at it later. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, so modules on this page. Everything you see here, I created, and while I was creating it, I made a video. So when we do get you access, which I promise I will, you're going to be able to see videos here, and most of them are under this link right here. But you're going to be able to see videos that are showing slowly how I did it. But I'm going to go ahead and just quickly talk to you about how to add modules. It's pretty intuitive. You see this big plus sign with the module up here. And you click that, and it's going to ask you to name it. And you can name it anything that you want, a module, a chapter. This could be where you write sub-assignments, so, you know, anything like that that you want to do. And then what you have is the heading of a module. One thing I do want to stress, let's do it here. This is one of my online classes. If you have stuff already, like let's say you're lucky and your school gives you an online class that already has a lot of material in it, but you want to add to it, and you click add module and you name it and you click add module. What I wanted to stress is that every time you add something to Canvas like this, it always goes to the very bottom. So anytime you click add module, if you think, where did it go? I don't see it anywhere. Just scroll down to the very bottom and look for it. You can then easily move it and, you know, take it up to the top, or you can say put it before that. And just, you know, you can move it very easily. But I just wanted to stress that it will always show up at the bottom. So I'm going to delete that before my online kids log in and like, what is Miss P doing? So I've added a module here. And now the first thing you want to do when you have a module is you want to give some kind of an information page. Here's that plus sign again. That is so important. You click it. And when I click that, you can add an assignment page, a quiz. You can just add a link to a file. This is just a blank page. So this is where you can add those information pages, a discussion, a text header. URLs, different external tools. So I have videos that show you what all of these mean and how to add all of these to any module, and ways in which you may use them. You know, why would you want to use a text header, or why would you want to use a discussion when the kids are in the classroom? You know, so just different things like that. But I'll go ahead and click page, and then you always click new page and just name it anything that works for you. And now I have the page under here. And when I click that, it's going to pop up, and it's actually going to look a lot like your home page that you just edited. You look for that edit button, and here is that box that you will learn to love. And here are all those icons, and over here how you can link files and images. You can upload files and images for your students, just all of these different things. And you can just click within the box and start typing anything that you need to type. Again, those videos that I love, there's that icon. And you know what's so cool about Canvas is the kids have access to this too. So if you're teaching any age group, but especially if you're teaching really young kids, there's a program called Flipgrid that I know some school systems you have access to, but some of you might not have access to. But basically it just takes little short videos and for the teacher to view and then grade. But it's almost like a Flipgrid where the students can record themselves or record their voices and answer questions or talk about anything that they want to talk about. The only difference between these pages and that home page was you'll now see a save and publish icon, or just a save icon. Within the modules, if you do not have it published, then students cannot see it. So this green check means that it's published, but actually the students can't see it because I have not published the entire module. So earlier I told you you can easily hide modules, or you can easily have it set up so that students can only see certain things. You do that with these green buttons here. And if you're logged in as a student, they never even see these buttons. But as a teacher, we're able to check them and uncheck them and completely change what the setup looks like to students. So let me uncheck this. And another really cool feature of Canvas is to click on Settings and Student View. And it now takes you into your class as if you were the student. And when you do that, you can click on Modules. And even though I had those 3 modules, remember that one big one? I made it disappear by unchecking that one circle. So you can see here that a student would only see what you wanted them to see. So again, you're making it organized. You're making it something that it's easy for them to navigate, no matter what age they are, really. And let's go back here to modules again. So modules, again, I can't stress how easy it becomes to create assignments, to create pages, and I'm going to talk about assignments and things in a moment, but just how easy it is to create the work and then also have control over the work. One other thing I wanted to show you when it comes to control is you can control the entire module and have it open up automatically by doing settings here. And anytime you see these little 3 dots, that means there's more options. And if I click that and I click on edit, I can add a requirement that, for example, students must score at least an 85 on that test before this module is considered completed. I click update module. And then I come here, I click those same 3 buttons, click edit, and I say students must complete that first module before they can have access to the second one. So what that does is kids cannot touch anything here until they've gone through this entire module and made an 85 on or higher on the unit test. And so again, just that ability to be able to control how they're flowing and how they're moving through the course. And it is just as simple as clicking on these little dots right over here. Okay, was that fast enough for you? Because I'm moving on, but again, you can see all of that in the videos, and I promise I don't talk as fast, and I've show you 1,000 more things than what you saw there. So let's talk about the assessments within online. I'm doing professional development later this month that talks about online pedagogy and also online just classroom management, which that sounds kind of crazy, but you do oftentimes you need to go into your online environment with the ideas of how am I going to, what does it look like to act appropriately in the online environment? And so if you can't make it to that professional development, again, that website is going to have some links to it where you can learn from everything that I talked about. But a huge part of putting anything online is just you have to kind of think about it from different perspectives and different point of views. And when I talk about the assessments, the first thing I talk about here is multiple choice quizzes or tests. When your kids are working from home, a multiple choice test is pretty useless. It's not going to be any kind of indicator of what your students know or don't know. There's settings that you can do, and you can make it timed, and you can lock down the browser so they can't pull up any other web pages. But we all know that every one of these kids has a phone right here. And if you say, what's the definition of this? And then you give them A, B, C, D choices, they're just going to pull up their phone and say, what's the definition of blah, blah, blah. So, with that said, we're not going to use multiple choice questions a lot, but what are most of us going to have? Probably some tests with multiple choice questions, even if they are working from home. Because I would be doing a disservice to my U.S. history kids if I did not have questions that helped prepare them for the end of course test. And, if you teach a tested course like a TCAP test, you may have questions online where you have the students work from home and do a couple of practice tests. And that's okay. But again, it's not going to be a great indicator of what do they really know, because there's just so many ways in which students can get information. The best way to assess students online, and I wrote it here big in red, was they need to create something. And students, they have to create more than they can consume. And what we mean by that is, like right now, you're just kind of consuming what I'm saying. You're just sitting and you're listening and you're reading, and later on you may be working from home and watching my videos and things like that, but that's all just consumption. You will not be creating until you actually pull up your Canvas course and you start trying to do this yourself. And so we really want to take kids to that next level and have them make things. And because they're online and there's so many free programs online to help them create, it becomes actually easy to do this in the online environment. You just have to really think about your prompts, your essay prompts, your project prompts. You need to have rubrics so students really understand what is being asked of them. When you ask a question, you don't ask, what is the definition of? Because that's easily something they could just go to Google and type and copy and paste, right? You need to ask them, what is the definition of this, and how is that affect your life, or how is that used within your life? So just different little things like that help you to deter plagiarism, helps the kids think about it a little bit deeper, and also again just helps them, makes it so that they're creating something. So instead of just sitting and consuming, instead of doing that sit and get. there's a ton of different programs, like I said, that students can use. And sometimes I mandate which ones I want them to use because I want them to learn something new. And then sometimes I just say, do whatever you want. Use any program that you want to use. And I highly recommend you do that. I will make them, for example, when my students create a World War II newspaper assignment in my U.S. history class, I make them do it in Prezi. And the reason why is because Prezi has this awesome outline for creating a newspaper. And then also it's teaching them Prezi. So, you're hoping that when your students graduate from high school, or even before they go into high school, you're hoping that when they're asked to present something, they know of more than just PowerPoint or more than just Google Slide. Like they may think of Prezi, or they may think of Book Creator, or they may think of creating a cartoon in the Cambridge Cartoon Maker. So all of these great resources that are there at their fingertips to help them create. A great thing with Canvas quizzes and tests is you can give them multiple attempts. You can, like I showed you earlier, make it to where there's a required score before they can move on. You can time it, or you can not time it. There's just a ton of different options to play with when you're creating a quiz or a test, and I'm going to show you those in just a moment. And then I wanted to talk about discussions and online discussions. And I know you probably think I'm crazy because they're sitting in the classroom with you and they're 2 feet apart and you're like, Gina, why do I need them to discuss online? But when they have these online discussions, it is a great place where students can talk to each other and learn from each other. And it's going to be students who wouldn't necessarily turn and talk to each other in the classroom. Sarah and Mary may be online in the afternoon or in the evening, and Mary types into a discussion, hey guys, I'm having trouble with this. What are you all doing? And even though Sarah and Mary have never spoken before in their life, the other one may log in and see that and answer her question. And so it's just a great place for them to respond to each other and help each other out. And as a teacher, you can, of course, see it all and respond and talk to them. And it's just it's a wonderful learning tool also to get them. You can set up discussions where they can't see everybody else's response until they first respond. So if you are asking some questions and you're trying to see how well do they really understand this, you can set it up that way, and then they have to respond. And then you make it, for full credit, you need to go back in and respond to at least 2 classmates. And by doing that, they're seeing how their classmates responded. They're learning from their response. And just in general, it's just a really great tool. And I think even in the classroom, I know it sounds crazy, but even in the classroom, I think online discussions are a really great thing to have. And then finally, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you something from a class for this last one. But when you put something online in a module like this, that's the wrong course, I'm sorry. It's such a great way to save yourself time and energy. So how many of us you're trying to get your students to do something new online, and you're 10 minutes in and you've literally just said the same thing like 15 times, and you're like, that's it, I can't take it anymore. My hair is going gray as we speak. Well, when you have online the information, you can do something like this. And again, using that screen recorder, which I highly, highly recommend, I've created a video here. And so this is introducing my students to Prezi and that newspaper project that I was telling you about. And I'm telling them, click here, to create an account, click here, click here, click here, then, search this, here's your newspaper template. And so I'm just literally saying, click, click, click. And so when I tell them, okay, guys, in the classroom, when I say, let's start that World War II newspaper project, I don't have to tell them 10 different times to go to this site, or, to get the free Prezi, you've got to scroll down here and click here. All of that, when students start to ask questions, the first thing I say is, did you watch the video? And so it's an amazing time saver for the teacher and also a voice saver. And then, so this is the information page for the World War II newspaper project, and you can see the rubric that's been added to it, and there's a link out to another video that gives them a little bit more detail, and then this video here. And but again, all of this gives them the information they need right here at their fingertips. So when they're working in class, it's here, and if they're going home at night and also working, then it's also there waiting for them. So let's go into our first unit here, and I'm just going to add a few things. Let's add an assignment first. So let's just do an assignment. It's going to pop up. I'm going to click here and edit. Are you starting to see a kind of a little, looking the same? We've seen all this before. We can type in here. We can embed images. We can record ourselves speaking. But now, since this is an assignment, it gives you other options. Like, how many points do you want this assignment to be worth? Is this points or is this percentage? Do you want the students to submit it online, or will this be something they're making in the classroom and they just hand in to you? I know they're there sitting with you, but I highly recommend you have some assignments submitted online just so they get used to that and they understand what that means. You can assign them to different groups. You can assign peer reviews, which I love doing. You can give due dates if you want. All of this that you can play with. And again, there's videos on that I've shown and I've talked more about. And you can click when you're done, save and publish, and everything will show up there for the students, kind of like you see here with that one. And since I clicked publish, it will show up for the students. There it is. It's green. Let me show you a quiz. Notice it's kind of the same thing each time. I'm clicking quiz. Now the quiz video is a little bit more in depth, and there's actually 2 videos because this is a little more difficult because you're not just always typing. You may want multiple choice, but you also might want true false or matching or essay questions. But I do have videos for all of those, but no matter what, you hit edit. And the first thing that comes up is the details. So, this right here, you can put information that you may want the students to know before they start taking it. You have all of these options on how you want it set up. Do you want multiple attempts? Do you want students to be able to see the correct answers at the end? Do you want to require an access code? You have all of that. But when you're ready to create actual questions, you click right here and click questions. And then there's that big plus sign, add a new question. And you can choose what kind of, and these are all the different question types that you can choose here. One thing that I will stress is that oftentimes your textbooks come with quiz questions and test banks. And if that's the case, Canvas has done an amazing job at making it to where those questions can be pulled into Canvas very, very easily. And the tech person at your school should be able to help you with this. But if you were to have that option and the person at your school helped load your test bank into your class, then you could just click new question group. And under here, it would list different questions that you have saved from that test bank. So that is something I would definitely highly recommend you looking into, because it's a great way to use questions that have already been put out and already been developed for your material. Okay, let's just save that. I'll have another blank thing here. And then the last thing, and I'm not going to go super in depth in this, but the other things that you could do here, and the one that is used the most by me, is you can create a discussion. That's where you would create that online discussion for your students. So, and guess what? You click it and it pulls up, and what do you see? That edit box that we've learned, that we've come to know and to love. So I'm almost out of breath. Brooke, I'm losing my voice. We have about 10 minutes left, and I would love to answer some of your questions that you may have on chat, or I can also go in just a moment and fix that website and make it so that you can access that website. One thing I do want to stress, though, one more time, and that shows here too, is please email me. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. This is part of what I do at the foundation. Is I do professional developments to help teachers throughout East Tennessee. So if you're working in Canvas and you've watched a couple of videos and you're like, I still don't really get that, then please, you can email me anytime. And then also, I would love for you to let me know other videos that you'd like to see. So again, you're working and you're thinking, I wish I knew how to pull in this Google Doc easily into my Canvas. I would love to help you do that, and I can make a video and show you how to do that quite easily.
Miss Gina,
Yes.
This website that you're talking about is, how is it going to be available? What are you referring to? Is it going to stay on Nice Longer website, or how are we going to be able to get it? What would be the home?
No, that's a great question. So this is a website that is on the World Wide Web. So if you have the link, you can access it from anywhere. What I'm going to do, and is I just forgot to change the settings to where that anybody can view it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if you have that web address that's on the PowerPoint, in just a little bit, you're going to be able to view it. Anybody will be able to view it.
Can you go back in the PowerPoint so we can write down the web page?
Yes, I sure will.
Unless you know it and you
No,
don't.
I don't.
Okay.
I can post that. I can post that again in the chat as well. We did have another question from Diane. Will we need to secure a subscription to Canvas? Could you talk a little bit about that, please?
I do, and so if you don't already have Canvas through your school, you can get a free Canvas account. And my understanding is that you can add up to 50 students to it. And everything that I'm talking about here and that I'm showing here, you can do within your own free account. The biggest thing between the free Canvas and the paid Canvas is if your school system has paid for Canvas, then you are, they will connect it to your student information system, and like grades that you give in Canvas will automatically sync back to PowerSchool or whatever program your system uses. But and for a free account, that of course is not possible. But you can just go to Canvas, and I'll actually pull the site up right here, and just, it will say, do you have an account? And if so, log in. If you don't, you can create one. So and I have also a video on this. So, but if it's Canvas, and I'm going to try to find it really fast to help you, and then pull it up. Here it is. Oh, let me share my screen. I'm so sorry. So, canvas.instructure.com, if you put that in, and then you click here on need a Canvas account, you can just use your email address and create an account. And something that's great about, like, why you may be thinking, why in the world would I do this if I don't have Canvas? Well, if your school gets Canvas one day, you can easily download that entire course that you've created, and then upload it into your school's Canvas and it be ready to go. So let's say this summer you want to do some work in Canvas, and then you go back to school in August, and your school system says, hey guys, guess what? We all have a Canvas account. Here it is. Well, all of that work you did this summer isn't lost. You can easily transfer it into your new Canvas account with your school system. And that's one thing that's amazing about Canvas in general, is how you can easily take an entire course, even those huge courses of mine that I was showing you earlier, and you can move it from one instance to another fairly easily. So if you don't have Canvas through your school, I would recommend still doing that.
A couple of my Greene County friends have just told me that they're getting it for us, so that answered it.
Great, that's great.
Okay. That's what I know. Thank you.
Great question.
Yeah.
So John Payne posted the link to the session materials. So that's to the Google Doc that does have the link to the website on there that Gina is referring to, with all of the awesome videos she's created. Does anyone else have questions?
Will the survey be with the chat section?
I'm just about, yes, it's going to be in the chat.
That's what I can put it here, and I can share. That's our last. If you have the whatever this is, the presentation pulled up, you can. This is the a link also. So if that helps any of you.
Great. So I just dropped the link to the survey in the chat box on Zoom. And as Gina said, it is also linked in the presentation if you've gone to the resources folder and pulled that up. Gina, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I just want to say one more time, if you haven't already, please, and if you don't have this in front of you, write down my email address so you can contact me anytime if you have any questions. And then also, within 10 minutes of us closing this, I'm going to go in here into the settings, and I'm going to get this worked out so that you can access this, so everybody can access that. But for some reason, if tomorrow morning you click that link and it doesn't work, you'll have my email address and you can find me, and I can get back with you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Any final questions from participants?
Brooke, did you see the question about Edulastic and Google Forms working in Canvas?
Oh, does Edulastic or Google Forms work in Canvas?
Google Forms work great. I've never used Edulastic. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. If it does though, or that is another thing about Canvas that's great is you can Google. And Canvas has this amazing help site, and if anybody out there is trying to use Edulastic and Canvas, it will let you. There'll be entire just threads on what they did to try to get it to work and whether it worked or not.
At our high school, at our school, 7th and pretty much everybody in 7th grade and 8th grade, the older teachers, they put everything on Edulastic and use Canvas for everybody. So I'm actually behind on the times, but they love it, and so they use it all the time.
I'm going to look that up later. That's because I really have never heard of it. That's pretty cool.
All right. Thanks for that question, Jerry Lynn. Anyone else before we wrap up? Well, I have posted the link in the chat to our survey. We want to thank you so much for attending this virtual Summer Institute session. Please take the survey. It'll take about 1 minute, and this is going to allow us to reflect on your thoughts about the session. We're always looking to improve, and collect your information if you would like to receive a certificate of attendance. So it's very important that you fill that out now if you are looking for a certificate of attendance. That's the only way that you can get that. If you have any problems with the link, just let us know. Gina, we want to thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us. I know personally I learned a lot about Canvas. I haven't used it before, so I'm excited about being able to support some of my schools who are using Canvas a little bit better.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and it was a great seeing so many of you here. I hope you all have a great summer, and yeah, just don't hesitate to email me if you need anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it.